An agriculture policy with the aim of eradicating poverty has officially been launched. Government says the housing revolution will not end, and the 2014 independence celebrations are officially opened. Thank you for joining us on another edition of National Focus. I'm Jarna Hector.
And I'm Tasia Floissac. Stay with us for details of the headline stories and others after this.
A lot of bathtubs are blamed for bruises. Some staircases are accused of being responsible for broken bones. Doors are occasionally viewed suspiciously as causing lesions. A high percentage of tables are accused of producing bleeding or trauma. Violence against women is a crime, and it's everyone's responsibility. It's inexcusable. If you're a victim or witness of physical or psychological violence or abuse, seek help and denounce the perpetrator.
Thank you for staying with us. Today, September 29th, various stakeholders of the agriculture sector, including farmers and farmers groups, processors, financial institutions, and other non-governmental organizations met at the Fort Young Hotel to officially kick off the third component of an agriculture policy program for Dominica. This agriculture policy program, or APP, is a project funded by the 10th European Development Fund and implemented by partnerships between the Inter-American Institute for Cooperation, the Caribbean Agriculture for Research and Development Institute, and the CARICOM Secretariat in collaboration with the Ministry of Agriculture.
There is no doubt that agriculture still plays and will continue to play a major role in the social and economic landscape of Dominica. Agriculture still has the greatest potential in terms of contribution to GDP, income generation, provision of employment, sustenance of rural livelihoods, provision of social stability in our various communities, food and nutrition security, generation of foreign exchange, and poverty reduction. So agriculture has a great responsibility.
The main objective of the APP is to increase productivity of small farm holders with an overall aim of reducing poverty. The APP's objective is to provide critical support to enhance rural incomes, food security, and develop rural communities. In essence, it is a tool to ensure that the agriculture sector continues to thrive in Dominica and the rest of the region. The program consists of three components. Kent Coppell, ICA Technical Specialist, explains.
There are three major components of the APP: policy and strategy, which will be led by CARICOM, and its focus is on the action that supports and enabling an efficient national and coordinated regional policy environment. Applied research, which is led by CARDI, focuses on building human capacity, improving stock of genetic material, and transforming to climate-smart agricultural systems. And the third component is enterprise development, led by ICA, focused on building capacities, instigating networking, enabling effective engagement with markets, and supporting creation of enabling environment for small producers and entrepreneurs.
Dorian Etienne is the officer in charge at CARDI, which is the agency responsible for the implementation of the second component of the program.
CARDI will undertake activities in designated states to develop capacity to absorb the results of appropriate applied research, technologies and innovation, enhance, maintain and distribute the stock of appropriate improved genetic material, and facilitate the process of transforming to climate-smart agriculture.
The focus is to gather information to assist with the third component of the program.
Actually, what we're going to have is a discussion on the National Agricultural Policy Program. What we're doing is to present the priority areas for the country that will fit within the project objectives, and to present that in terms of for year one in the project life. So the focus is really to ensure that our national priorities are reflected in what we consider to be the indicative proposal for Dominica. So we're hoping that this morning we'll give an opportunity for stakeholders to share their opinion on the priority actions or priority areas for year one in the project life.
The priority commodities in Dominica for 2014 will be sweet potatoes, plantain and bananas, and small ruminants. 8.6 million euros have been allocated for the implementation of the program in the Caribbean region.
Honorable Minister for Culture, Youth and Sports, Justina Charles, has encouraged Dominicans to play their part in their country's development. The Culture Minister was addressing the official opening of the Independence celebrations last Friday at the Windsor Park Stadium. The Minister made particular reference to the theme for this year's celebrations, Our Nation, Our Responsibility.
The theme urges us to be good and responsible citizens. We have a responsibility, for example, to protect our environment, to ensure that generations to come will enjoy the natural attributes of our nature isle. We have a responsibility to address the social ills that threaten to destroy the fabric of society, the family. As God-fearing citizens, we should consider it an obligation to care for the vulnerable, those at risk, and the needy among us. We all, and I mean each one of us, can make a meaningful contribution to the development of this country.
Honorable Minister for Social Services, Community Development and Gender Affairs, Gloria Shillingford, echoed similar sentiments in her address at Friday's ceremony.
I declare with no reservation that you, me, every one of us has a responsibility for the destiny of this nation.
Honorable Minister for Information, Telecommunications and Constituency Empowerment, Ambrose George, represented the Honorable Prime Minister on Friday. Honorable George challenged nationals to do something different this independence season, which officially ends on November 4th.
I believe we can probably also pay a little more attention to the cleanliness of our surroundings. That is, if each and every one of us should see it as our responsibility to play that important role in ensuring that our immediate environment are kept clean, then I believe that in celebrating our independence, cleanliness can be showcased of one of those aspects.
Honorable George also issued a call to the private sector.
I would like to see the business houses do something different this year, whether it is by some extra lighting at the business places, showcasing the colors of our flag, decorating the business houses, whether it's by buntings, by balloons, or decorative cloth, using our natural flora and fauna, in whatever way that, and in particular within the city, in whatever way that the private sector can play its part in showcasing our celebrations this year, I believe that could be an additional aspect of our celebrations.
At Friday's official opening, there were appearances by the reigning Miss Wobduyet, Madame Wobduyet, and T. Matador, and the contestants of this year's National Wobduyet competition. There were also performances by the Paybush drummers, the Portsmouth, Paybush, Petit Savant and Karina cultural groups, as well as the Sixth Form Cicero singers, the Waitukubuli Dance Theatre Company, Charlie Bell, Michael Henderson, Joyce Stout, and Dominica's Lady of Song, Ophelia Marie. Dominica gained independence from Great Britain on November 3, 1978. Every year, the Cultural Division and the National Cultural Council organize a series of activities to commemorate the celebrations. Activities include cultural festivals, Heritage Day, Market Day with a Difference, Creole Day, National Day Parade, and Community Day of Service.
In other news, the nation's Honorable Minister for Housing, Lands and Settlements, Reginald Austrie, has assured Dominicans that the DLP's housing revolution is here to stay. The minister was speaking at the formal handing over of 6 apartments in the Silver Lake community. He provided evidence of the stability of the revolution.
And if you go to Hillsborough Gardens, we've constructed 30 houses at over $6 million. You can go to Bellevue Chopin, where we constructed 11 houses at a cost of some $3 million, not including the land. If we go to Chance in Portsmouth, you will see that we've built 15 traditional homes and 10 houses built with assistance from Venezuela, what we call the Petro Casas. If you go to Bellevue Royal, you will see another 5 homes. If you go to Stock Farm, you will see another 10 Petro Casas. If you go to Lily Valley in Trafalgar, you will see another 10 Petro Casas. If you go to Granby, you will see another 10 Petro Casas. That, ladies and gentlemen, is a reflection that our housing revolution is alive, it's well, and it's going places.
When the Labour Party government came into office, it set about regularizing squatters as the beginning of housing reform. Also, $750,000 was earmarked for 10 houses in Castle Bruce this month. The national budget for the fiscal year 2014-2015 has allocated an additional $27 million for housing. The sanitation component of the Housing Revolution program has so far touched close to 4,000 families. The construction sector has also gotten a large share of that economic fruit since all materials are locally purchased and all manpower is locally contracted. Honorable Austrie sees these developments as indisputable evidence that even more Dominicans will experience better standards of living.
We have heard in many circles that the moment this government loses the election, the housing revolution will stop. But I dare say to you, the people of Silver Lake and those listening, that because this government is not going anywhere, the housing revolution can only get bigger, better, and stronger.
Work is progressing satisfactorily on the construction of the Falcaoni Road. This was confirmed last week by the Honorable Parliamentary Representative for the Rosa Valley constituency, Dr. John Colin McIntyre. During a tour of the project site last week, the Rosa Valley MP explained to GIS News the reason behind the project's initiation.
The people of Falcaoni in a lovely neighborhood, a lot of lovely houses, some of our English folks who went across to the greener pastures in those days in terms of England, came back and they built their lovely homes in Falcaoni. And next to me as well, you can see some beautiful houses. And I thought, you know, let's raise the level of the people here in terms of a lovely road, lovely roadway. No, I'm always strong on using local resources, and I am partnering with the villagers, of course, and the government of Dominica, and the NEP as well too, in terms of hauling the material here in terms of the tarish, and we're putting cement there, and we're using the young people from the area to work, and it's a means of ownership as well too. And if you're from an area and you're going to be building something, what you'd be interested in is doing something that is pretty strong for you for the future.
This is just one of several projects ongoing within the Rosa Valley constituency, which has created employment opportunities for several residents.
In the Rosa Valley, we have roads all up to Loda and to the Freshwater Lake. We have gone through half of the Loda village. We're going to complete the other half of it. We have built roads to the Tito Gorge. We actually have a project at Tito Gorge, which we are doing right now in terms of the crossing there to get to the tourist facility. I was there yesterday as well, and we have a crew working up there again in terms of young men really developing that area, and we have the lifeguards at T2 Gorge in terms of providing some safety for that area when visitors and of course locals go in that area to swim up the gorge. So I think we are very happy for what's going on right now in terms of employment for the Roseau Valley.
GIS News will bring you more details from last week's visit to the Roseau Valley constituency in a subsequent newscast.
In other news, the government of Dominica is taking steps to reduce the cost of doing business in Dominica. The Customs Amendment Act of 2014 was passed in Parliament earlier this month to help reduce the time taken to clear goods at customs, thus making business easier for Dominicans. The full reform program was outlined by the Minister for Constituency Empowerment, Honorable Ambrose George.
The introduction of the Asicuda World software. 2, the reorganization of the organizational structure to include critical elements such as risk management and post-audit functions. 3, establishing a formal mechanism for interface between the Customs Division and the private sector with the establishment of the Joint Custom Committee. And 4, the passage of a new and updated Customs Act.
The Honorable Minister said since the introduction of the reform program, it has been easier to do business at customs and that it will be further improved with the full implementation of the risk management system.
The risk management system is also being applied at the Inland Revenue Division, the IRD, and it is expected that the efficiencies gained will have positive benefits derived for clients. Madam Speaker, this amendment to the Customs Act number 20 of 2010 is intended to allow the Customs Division and the Inland Revenue Division to work closely together to the benefit of more efficient delivery of service to clients. Section 3 of the amendment bill amends Section 9, subsection 4 of the Customs Act and gives authority to the Controller of Customs to share information with the Controller of the Inland Revenue Division. A memorandum of understanding will be signed between the two parties.
Tasia, this story is the perfect example of words being turned into action.
Definitely.
Because just a few weeks ago, the Finance Minister presented a budget to Dominicans that proposed so many ways to make life easier for us. And one of those was to improve the way things are done at the customs to make it easier for people to clear their items on the port. And one program that was presented in the budget was the de minimis program. And now, just a few weeks after that presentation, the House of Parliament is looking at a bill to implement de minimis legally and to go on with customs reform in Dominica.
And I really think that this program is something that will benefit all Dominicans, especially shoppers like you and me, Jarna, and the wider public, because naturally you would have to go to whoever your courier is, for example, with church, if it's Aeropost or basically whatever courier, and get what is called a declaration form.
Right.
Then you'd have to go to the ports and go through what I consider a long, tedious process, which sometimes is just not necessary, because you'd have to get that declaration form assessed, you'd have to find out the charges for your items. They would then have to find the items for you, put all those charges together, you'd have to go to the cashier, you'd have to just a whole evaluation process, and then you'd have to then go to pick up your goods. So it would take you like forever at the port, like literally hours. But no, with that program, basically once whatever it is you purchased online is at a minimum of $150, you are able to just go directly to your courier. So I could just go directly to Whitchurch and get my goods instead of having to take time off from whatever it is I'm doing and spend long hours at the ports. And I get my stuff really quickly and I'm just happy.
Usually people clear their items on their lunch hour, so that could take up your entire lunch hour. But as long as your items value, insurance and freight come up to 150 EC or less, then you can just pick it up at your courier, and that's it. No longer
pretty
says
easy,
that.
and it's just nice, and it just shows that government is doing all in their power to make things easier for Dominicans and keep abreast with the times, because we know a lot of people online shop these days. I don't think a lot of people shop in Dominica anymore, but a lot of people have to send for stuff to come back, and so it's a good program.
And according to Honorable Ambrose George, there are several other strategies to be unfolded as part of the customs reform project. So I guess we can look out for more developments on that story.
Definitely.
And that's the English news. McPherson St. Luce comes up next with the Creole highlights.
Allô tout le monde, bienvenue à cette nouvelle en créole. Nous, moi, c'est McPherson St. Luce. Premièrement, le ministre de l'Agriculture a collaboré avec AICA et CADI pour conduire le policy programme agriculture en Dominique. En consultation qui mène ensemble plusieurs officiers pour en place aujourd'hui. M. Ricky Brumand, c'est directeur agriculture.
Le ministère de l'Agriculture avec CADI et avec ICA, nous avons mené devant un programme qui a considéré toutes des importants composants pour le développement agricole. Premier, nous avons regardé comment nous ça mener les gens qui ont planté, les gens qui ont fait travail agriculture à ce marché-là. Et deuxième, nous avons regardé avec CADI pour transfer technology, nous avons regardé climate change, nous avons regardé qui a plan pour nous planter, nous avons regardé comment nous ça fait, ça habitant qui a fait plus meilleur à ces plantations. Nous, à ICA et CADI, il y a implémenté des component programme ça pour meilleur développement agricole à pays là.
Dorian Etienne, c'est officier CADI.
CADI est positionné pour implémenter un projet qui a développé research et différentes commodities. C'est un projet qui l'argent pour faire ça a sorti de European Union. Appliqué des millions d'euros. Et aujourd'hui, nous avons et puis ICA, nous avons commencé à faire ça.
Mais comment important ça est pour Dominique?
C'est bien important, puis l'agriculture, c'est un bagage qui est plus important à Dominique. Nous avons des fois un problème. Et puis différentes commodités. Et puis, le projet ça développe ces problèmes-là.
Alors, le nouvel département establishment ni un comité qui est en charge d'organiser journée service public l'année 2014. Selon officier establishment Carl Baron, expo qui était tenu vendredi qui passé, c'était une ancienne activité là pour organiser.
Nous avons un awards and recognition ceremony. Mais nous, ça pas assez. Et un jour, ça ne peut pas assez. So nous avons un Central Planning Committee qui est led by Establishment Department. Le comité, ça, nous avons joint, nous avons plan de bagaille, nous avons mené l'autre public officers qui pas qu'à travailler establishment, qui parlent des comités. So nous avons subcommittees. Nous avons des différentes activités. Nous tenons un hike, nous tenons un sports day. Nous avons servi t-shirt today pour promote jour. So activité ça, c'est pas ça un jour. So nous expo ça c'est yon. Nous tenons en juillet, nous tenons sports day en août, nous tenons hike en juin, nous tenons hike en septembre, early septembre pour wellness. Nous avons l'autre expo en octobre, et final là c'est novembre, et nous avons church service aussi. Qui a commencement week là, nous avons célébrer public service, ça c'est en décembre. Nous expo ça, nous pas les perdre des personnes. Nous tout le monde involved en un public service day. So expo ça c'est un bagay. Là nous que mener monde, nous que interact, nous que share information. So it's un bagay pour promote ensemble là nous ni un public service là.
En notre nouvelle, ministre de la Culture, Honorable Justina Charles, a créé ces populations-là pour venir ensemble pour un peuple pour célébration indépendante. Si l'homme ministre Charles, thème là, l'année là, qu'a une réflexion pour ça.
Indépendance nous c'est un bitin nous ka cherish on bitin nous ka chebe bien haut because il ka ki en les nous qu'on moun nation pour venir ensemble continuer pour développer place là. Dans ça la film là c'est yon nation yon responsabilité. So il y a qui nous toutes ni responsabilité pour ouais qui Dominique développer. So nous qui nous toutes pour ouais ça nous sans faire et pour mettre l'homme nous en ça qui a fait Dominique pour make sure nous développe nation ça là because ça son nation là nous toutes ni pour assise et là nous fait on partie de nous c'est là nous qui mort et on partie de nous c'est là seulement nous qui rester en la vie nous so nous ni pour faire nation ça là on nation où là nous ça vivre en l'amour en la paix nous ça vivre sans la paix pour ça qui a fait nous so nous pas ça ni ça c'est nous mêmes pas fait because quand on bon matin moun avant yo préparer nation ça là ban nous actuellement ni une responsabilité pour préparer nation ça là pour ça qui a venir pas d'autant nous quand même fait pour nous mêmes jouir ça qui a fait actuellement.
Et puis, finalement, plusieurs communautés en constituency Rose 9 ça gardé devant pour développement. Parole ça là sorti au membre parlement Honorable Julius Timothy. C'est l'Honorable Timothy, projet sport indoor facility qui pour bâtir en stock farm qui mène gros achievement pour moun wansala. En 10 semaines qui passé, en délégation architecte RNO Road Miami, t'es en Dominique pour présenter preliminary plan pour gouvernement. Officier ici tapé opportunité pour discuter plein là en plein. Compagnie architecte là qu'a expecté pour retourner payant et puis en plan final pour grand projet ça là. Messieurs, mesdames, ça c'est tout pour nouvelle en créole pour à présent. Non, moi c'est McPherson Luce. Au revoir.
Coming up next, how much water does your body actually need every day?
DOWASCO recognizes that clean water is vital to healthy living. Therefore, it spares no effort in providing a clean, safe, and reliable system. Help keep our rivers safe and clean. Do not cut trees along the river banks and do not pollute with garbage, human or animal feces, and chemicals. Think water, think life.
Tasia, how much water do you actually drink every day?
Honestly, Jarna, not a lot. Maybe 3-4 glasses.
And you survive on 4 glasses of water every day?
Yeah, I do.
Shameful.
It is.
There has been some debate as to how much water one should actually drink daily. According to Hydration for Health, adult men need at least 2 liters daily, while adult women require 1.6.
Really?
Really.
Wow, I'm horrible. That is the bare requirement for normal body function, but going beyond that can only bring added benefits. Try going a little beyond that every day and watch the changes to your skin, digestion, and weight.
And that's all for this edition of National Focus. We always welcome your suggestions and comments. Drop us an email at gis@dominica.gov.dm or visit our website news.gov.dm.
Like our Facebook page, facebook.com/GIS News Dominica. You can also catch up on the past National Focus newscasts on our GIS Dominica YouTube channel. From all of us here on the GIS News Desk, I'm Tasia Floissac.
And I'm Jarna Hector. Thank you for watching and join us again next time on National Focus.